Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. We are continuing on with the 12 days of Christmas today, and we're doing day 6, which is going to be my favorite or the things that I think were my best reads of the year. And a couple of them I think are a little cheaty. I always say that I have like a couple cheats because I do tend to reread things is like almost at specific times of the year, or if it's been a few years and I want to reread something, I will tend to reread it. So a couple of the things that are on this list are rereads, but every once in a while when I reread something, I will lower the rating or raise the rating depending on how long it had been, because, obviously your tastes change over the years and things like that. So a couple of them are rereads, and a couple of them I'm going to talk more about in my video of like my overall. These are 100% my favorites. These are in no particular order. Some of them, originally, I thought it was like the order that I read them in the year, but I don't think it was. I think it was just the order that I thought of, hey, these were my favorites. All right. The first one, I do know that it was the earliest thing that I read in the year because I got the first book for Christmas last year and I read it right away, and then read the second one right after. So the first one is The Nightmare Before Kissmass. And the one that I was talking about reading right after is Go Luck Yourself. So these are a duology, and they are both very good. I think I only gave the first one 4 stars, but the second one, Go Luck Yourself, is definitely a 5-star read. And if you are an audiobook listener, that one is definitely worth a listen on audiobook. One of the main characters in that one is Irish, and they actually have an Irish voice actor who's reading for his part, and he sounds delicious. Let me just say, it's so good. This whole duology is, if you can't tell from the first one, the one is Christmas and the other one is Halloween. So these are two princes. They end up in a fake relationship type of situation. And obviously, we know how fake relationship things work. So you can take a guess as to where that goes, but it's really good. And then the second one is The Other Prince of Christmas and the Prince of St. Patrick's Day, which is why he is Irish. And they are both very good. They are adult books. They are spicy, especially that second one is very good. So if that is your thing, I definitely suggest checking those out. The second thing that I have is Sunrise on the Reaping. I read this as soon as it came out, and I am one of those people that I think this book was amazing. I think for her to take a story that everyone already knew what was going to happen, because if you've read The Hunger Games, obviously you know what happens, and to still put things in here that surprised me, shocked me, made me not believe what I already knew to be true, and to think that that was not going to happen is amazing. I think this book comes off almost like a fan fiction, like what you were hoping to have happened, or like what you would imagine someone would write as a fan fiction. I think that she did in this book. Right now I'm reading a Hunger Games fan fiction, and it's the first 3 books, so Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. All 3 of those books retold from Peeta's perspective, and I feel a lot of the same things that I felt when I was reading this book. Like, you already know that story, you already know what happens, and yet I'm still so intrigued and so drawn in to find out what happens, even though I already know. And for a story to be able to do that, I just think is so amazing. And I could honestly talk about it for forever because I love The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games is one of my favorite book series. I'm probably going to talk about that in a couple days. Okay. So this series right here is one of the ones that is a reread for me. I reread this series this year. and it's the Renegade series. They are chunky, they are thick. I don't know if you can see. The other one is like, no, it's just cut out of the screen. They are thick books. They are by Marissa Meyer. Marissa Meyer is one of my favorite authors. I think if you are a person who enjoys My Hero Academia, you would like this book series. This book series is all about superheroes and villains, but the main character in this story is a villain. She is kind of like going undercover as a superhero to like take them down from the inside. That is the whole premise of this story. So our main character is not morally gray. She is a straight up villain, and she is a mole inside the superhero like team, superhero society. And I think it's really good. Um Lots of twists, lots of turns, lots of things that are surprising. Really good the first time I read it, still good the second time I read it. And I decided to give it a reread because it was one of those books that like I read this the first time like 6 years ago, and I still was thinking about things that happened in this book. And I decided to give it a reread to see how much I actually remembered, to see if it still pulled the same weight, see if I still felt the same. And it really does. Like, it is a book series that I suggest to people. Like, if they like sci-fi things, they like fantasy things, they like superhero things, this is a book series that I will normally suggest. Um, the second one in that book series, I'll just pull them out and show you, is Arch Enemies. And the third one in that book series is Supernova. And like I said, you can see they are chunky books. I have listened to them on audiobook, and they are decent on audiobook. Marissa Meyer tends to get like the same narrators for the majority of her books. So um, I don't know if it just happens to work out like that, they like the publishing company and the um, audiobook company or whatever, they just work together. But it just works out that most of Marissa Meyer books are recorded by the same person. And I think that's Rebecca Soler. I think that's the name of the narrator. Okay. The next one that I read and loved is Remarkably Bright Creatures. I loved this book. I listened to this one on audiobook. It's another one that I definitely recommend. And I do not think that I am in the minority by saying that my favorite character in this book was the octopus. He is one of the main characters in this book, and some of the chapters are told from his perspective, and they are really good. They can be very funny, and the narrator that they got to like voice the octopus's thoughts, obviously because he's not speaking, these are just things that are internal for him, did a really good job, and he was really entertaining, and I honestly, I loved it. It was really good. So I definitely suggest you check that one out. Um, I'm not going to talk about that one too much because that one like blew up on Book Talk and Bookstagram a while ago. So I'm sure that you guys have at least heard of Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I actually believe that was her first novel that she wrote, and it actually was really good. I definitely would recommend you reading it. It wasn't my typical read, but it was like one of my favorites that I read this year. I read it early in the year too. All right. The next one that I have is another reread for me, and that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I love Ready Player One. The funny thing is, I didn't enjoy it as much the first time I read it. I think because a lot of the things not went over my head, but it's a lot of details. Um, it's a lot of information. It's a lot of nostalgia. It's just a lot. But the second time I read it, I think I listened to it the second time. I think I read it the first time and I listened to it the second time, which again, the audiobook is great. It's read by Will Wheaton. And if you're not sure who Will Wheaton is, he was on Star Trek and he also did like guest starred on Big Bang Theory as Will Wheaton. So if you've seen Big Bang Theory, you know who Will Wheaton is because he was guest starring as himself. Um, it's read by him. He does an amazing job of reading the story as our main character. I feel like if you are anywhere close to my age, which I am 40, I was born in 1985, some of the references in this book are before my time. However, I do feel like there are so many things that are referenced in this book that it is super enjoyable for someone older than me, someone my age, someone younger than me. Like, someone younger than me might not get all the references and might not feel the nostalgia. However, there's like things for everybody. Like, there's, movie references, video game references, pop culture references. There's so much stuff in here, and I just think it's a really good and entertaining read. I will say, skip the second one. I do think this is one of those times where an author was just like, wow, my book is blowing up and they turned it into a movie and I'm going to write a sequel. And the sequel was not great. So I definitely would say just read Ready Player One. It's a really good read. Skip the second one. Just pretend that it's not there. I do have it. I did read it. I did listen to it. I did all the things and it's just not great. Okay. I talked about the series a little bit yesterday. So the next one is The Raven Boys. And as you can see, I love this book. I have read this one 4 or 5 times. I like to reread this one every once in a while. And um, I love it. I did reread it again this year. Um, just for nostalgia factor, I actually have gotten 2 people to read the book series this year, and they both really liked it. The main thing that made me wanna reread it, though, was reading the graphic novel, and then I really wanted to reread the whole series. Um, I haven't read the other ones. You can actually see the whole series. This is the whole book series right here, and there's the graphic novel, but they are all right here. I did reread this whole series, like, they are all tabbed like that. I love the series so much, and I'm gonna talk about them more in depth, in the video that are my overall favorites. However, I haven't reread the second series as much, which is honestly surprising because of who my favorite character is. If you've read the series and you know what the second series is about, you're not gonna be surprised, but I'll talk about it tomorrow or whenever that video comes out. I don't even know if it's tomorrow. I'm saying tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's tomorrow. I think it's in 2 days. I think tomorrow is a podfic day. Anyway, we have totally gotten off topic. I love this book series. I will always recommend it. It is really good. It is an amazing series that it gets better each time you read it. Like I said, I'm on my 5th reread and I'm still finding things that I missed, the earlier times that I've read it, or where like the author has foreshadowed something that's going to happen or whatever. And I think that's so amazing because there are so many books that once you read it for the first time, once you know the plot twist, once you know like the big reveal, they're just not as good of a reread. And they're the type of books that people are like, I wish I could reread this again for the first time. Like, it was amazing, but it just doesn't hit the same as a reread. And this series is different. Even knowing the things that are going to happen, it's still an amazing read. So if you haven't read it, I strongly suggest reading it. If you have read it, I strongly suggest reading it again and seeing how you feel about it the second time or the third time or the fourth time or however many times you've read it. All right, now we're going to get into some things that I don't have in front of me because I either listened to the audiobook, like checking it out from Libby, or I checked it out from the library, or it's on my Kindle or whatever. So the first one, it's just a random read. I just really enjoyed it. I listened to it on audiobook. I actually got an advanced reader copy of it from NetGalley. And it's called Beauty and the Beach. I'm going to try to put pictures of them right here. It actually worked pretty well for the manga one, so I think I should be able to do it again. No probs. It is a like fake dating, fake marriage, fake engagement type story. It was really cute. It's a millionaire romance story. And again, I say not my typical read. I do read a lot of romance. I do read a lot of fake dating. So I don't know what about it I think is not my typical read. It I really liked it though. It's a whole series, but it's one of those series where each book is written by a different author. And I listened to a couple of them. This one was my favorite. I guess because I don't tend to be drawn to billionaire romances, but because this one was fake dating, I was drawn to it. So I gave it a shot and I actually really liked it. I liked the characters a lot. Sometimes female main characters for me can be really hit or miss, and I joke that that's why I'm drawn to books because there are no women. Because sometimes female main characters really make me angry or piss me off or whatever. Um, and I didn't find that so much with this one. So I will say I think this one was a good one. I think it's worth a read if you like billionaire romances or you like fake dating. I think this one is worth a read and worth a listen. The next one that I'm going to talk about, again, I checked it out from the library and I read it. It's called Skater Boy. It is a play on Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy song from way back in the day. And as a millennial, it just it intrigued me. So this book I think is not for the younger crowd. Like I read it and I thought it was amazing, but I think it just appealed to the nostalgia factor of my age group. I suggested it to someone who is more than 10 years younger than me. She is about 27. And like I said, I'm 40. And she did not like it the way that I did. She found the one character very annoying. And for me, I just really liked it. I liked that they retold the song Skater Boy, but in a romance situation. And they still had like the one character was a dancer, the one was a skater boy, except the ballet dancer in this one was a man. So like in the song, um, one was a skater, one did ballet. That is exactly the premise of the story, except they are both men. And so if that sounds interesting to you, I suggest checking it out. I thought it was really good. I really liked it. I don't know if I'm in the minority for that, but I liked it. All right. And the last one that I'm going to share with you today is The Dark Heir by C.S. Pacat. I love this series so far. The first one is, I almost said Cruel Prince. I do love that series, but that is not this one. This one is the second book in the. Oh, my mind is blanking. I'll post a picture of the first one too, because I cannot think of what the title is of the first one. I do think it. I'm also confusing her other book series, the like the Traitor Prince or something like that. I'm confusing so many of her books right now because I really do enjoy all of the books that this author writes. Graphic novels as well. That's going to come up in the next video as well. Okay, so the Dark Heir. I love this series. It is another series. It has some romance aspects into it. It was very interesting. I am eagerly awaiting the third book in the series to come out. I probably will do a reread before the third one comes out because that's what I did this time. When the second one came out, I did a reread of the first one and then listened to the second one. So I probably will do that again because, like I said, I can't even remember the title of the first book right now. Um, I read this one early in the year as well. A lot of the things that I read early in the year have been like the only 5-star things that I've read for the year, which is kind of sad, but I tend to read a lot of fan fiction towards the ends of the year, so it happens. But this is another series. If you like MM, this is a really interesting series. We've got like reincarnation. We've got it reminds me a lot of like Dragon Age, like just those types of like roles and characters, like people that are like Templars and Paladins and stuff. Like just it's very interesting. We have a like a really big villain that almost reminds me of um like a big main villain from like Lord of the Rings or something. Like it's just like this very high fantasy world, very like medieval. It's very interesting, very good. Lots of romance, lots of intrigue, lots of twists, lots of turns, lots of crazy things happening. It is kind of brutal, so if you're not like super into like people dying, uh, that does happen a lot in this whole like duology so far. But I think it's supposed to be a trilogy. I think the third book is coming out this year, so if you want to wait till the third one comes out, um, you know, wait till it comes out and give it a try. I did listen to this one on audiobook as well. Audiobook was really good. I like the I actually really like the main character and the like other like main character, the other main male character um is like the villain character in the story, or like the morally gray, but he definitely is a villain, and I like both of them. They're both very interesting. All right, friends. So I hope that you enjoyed all of these books. Like I did with the manga one, I will put down all of the books and who they were written by, and I'll put in parentheses if they are part of a series. And if you want to check them out, I suggest checking them out. And I hope you guys will join me for the next video. Tomorrow, in our 12 Days of Christmas, is the first piece of a new podfic that was written by me. It's called Better Than Fiction, part 1, but it's chapters 1 and 2. And it should be finished by like the beginning of January, I think. And then the one after that will be another video like this. And I'm talking about like my favorite of all times, or things that I think are underrated that I think you should check out. And so those will be the 26th and 27th. So I hope that you check out tomorrow's podfic video, and then I hope I see you again on the 27th. See you next time.